Right, I'm going to pass briefly back to David. I think... Okay. Oh, we're all coming out. There's a very fast tank coming. Oh. World War II. This is an M5A1. Which is an upgraded version of the M3 Stuart, as it was called by the British. The Americans tended not to saw that Churchill got a bit confused about M3 medium, M3 lights, what have you, and said simply, why don't they give them names? So we did. We called this one the Stuart, that one the Stuart, this one the Chappie. Coming out. And this shows how the concept of a light tank started built tanks. They started off with a small light tank based on their existing designs. And they upgraded it to the Chappie here. Big difference between the two is that the Stuart had a 37mm gun. We've been hearing about aircraft engines being put into tanks. Here's a case where an aircraft gun was put into a tank. They need 75mm. And so the guns, the rig stock, were moved up and used as the main firepower for the Chappie. So there she goes up onto the butt there, very quick, very agile, very long service record. Unfortunately, none of them survived that conflict. So, we've seen two light tanks. The Americans would really have loved to be building a medium tank, but as David pointed out earlier on, it's not as simple as all that. You need to sort of tool up the factories. Every sizable engineering concern in America started to churn out a medium tank. And here comes perhaps one of the most iconic vehicles, quite possibly one of the most important vehicles of World War II, and this is the M1A1 Sherman. Note that the height of this thing is dictated by the fact it's got an aero engine in the back there. Continental aero engine, which means it has to be of a certain height in order to get the engine in. The M1A1 is that cast hull. This one was made by the Lever Locomotive organisation used to dealing with heavy metal. They could cast a hull. The cast hull was incredibly strong, but you couldn't maintain that throughout the whole production run. This is an M4A2. So it's a development, if you like, of the original concept, and it illustrates how incremental changes were made throughout the development of the Sherman. It was never as simple as the A1 came for the A2, came for the A3. I'm sorry, I'm cleaning the plugs. There are no plugs in there, it's a diesel. Right, so that's a little sort of nerd point you can bring up. There were problems for the Sherman. It had, for instance, the A1 here had a very basic ammo storage system. By the time you get to the A3, particularly the A3E8, which is what Fury represents, but actually isn't, army protection, and the tank is getting better and better. It was very mechanically reliable, relatively quick across country, 20 miles an hour across country, much more on the road, easy to maintain, and the most important thing about the Sherman, as far as both the Allies and the Americans were concerned, was there was always another one. Sherman on the way. I'm going to hand on to David, who's going to have a look at another iconic tank of World War II.
So, we've got the American there, the Sherman tank, made in vast numbers, and often equated with this tank coming on now, the Soviet T-34. This one, T-34-85 model, with an 85mm gun. It starts at the beginning of the war, it's got the 76mm gun on. Now there's a meet with Walter Christie, a maverick designer who's come up with a very fast tank. The Soviets they buy the rights to build these types of tanks BT fast tanks built on the Christie system, and they've got a Vickers model they build on in the 1930s. Now Russia decides, or the Soviet Union as it was then, decides it's going to use building tanks as part of its 5-year plan. In other words, how we're going to help industrialise the whole of the Soviet Union. So they don't just build, I said, like 35 tanks built in America between 1920 and 1935 up to literally the night before Germany attacked Russia in the summer of 1941. Stalin has massacred 30,000 of his officers in one of his late war purges. He's got these fantastic new tanks coming into service. Very few of the crews are well enough trained to use them. So early in that campaign, much of that Russian tank fleet is lost, including some of these fantastic new T-34s. Frightens the life out of the Germans when they meet them, because suddenly we're meeting a tank with sloped armour, a powerful 76mm gun, really impressive bit of engineering. Albert Speer and Franz Topp.
At this point, I'm tempted to say something facile like, this is the moment you've all been waiting for, but I suspect for an awful lot of you, it is. Now, this is, we managed to keep out of the secret well. You will see something that hasn't really been seen since the end of World War II. You will see the King Tiger, Tiger, and Panzer III together. Now, starting off with King Tiger, probably most of you have seen Tiger 131, which is now Tiger in the museum, captured by the British Army in North Africa in 1943. This Tiger has been brought to us by our very good friends from Saumur, French Musée de Verdun, French Tank Museum. Stop for over there, because this really is a vehicle to strike a certain amount of awe into us here. It certainly did with respect to Allied tank crews. Now, what the Tiger 1 and Königsegg have to have in common is they are both German aircraft. They're both now, German tank clubs obviously didn't really kick off after that. Nothing much happens about it. In the 30s, there are some prototypes, things like that happening. For an example, what happens when one of these gets shot at, go look at the Tiger 2 in the museum. Have a look around the side, and you'll see the impact of two 6-pounder AP rounds at very, very close range. They're called vertical damage, they ricochet off. This tank is just about impervious to enemy tank fire. And when it comes to anything back, that is a superbly powerful gun. That is the KWK-43 L71 gun. If I put this in very simple terms, that gun can put around that gun, KWK-43, 88mm, that can put around through the frontal arm, the toughest bit of shirt or Jesus. Now, by way of contrast, we have this is our Tiger 131. Tiger 131, followed by Panzer III. Tiger 131 is the platform, the first platform to mount the 88mm gun. It's not the same gun as you get with the Tiger 2. It is the KWK very powerful indeed. And following Tiger 2, Tiger 1, 2 o'clock, we have Panther 3, another of our tanks. This is our Panther 2. If you look at the three together, quite a contrast. But when you look at Panther 3, the early part of the war shows how things changed. Panther 3 was designed as the principal gun tank of the Panther battle. It doesn't say particularly potent very long range, but it's done. So you go from 37.5mm gun, early war, up to 50mm gun. But then, as I said, coming into Soviet Union, Operation Barbarossa, they needed a platform to match the 88. So, why, therefore, if you've already got one superb tank knocking about 1,500 metres away, but with 75mm armed Sherman, you need to get within about 200 metres. You take into account the ongoing tanks and pretty manageable. This